Have you received your 2024 maintenance fee bill yet? If you have, or even if you haven't, you might be in for a shock when you open it. What's this all about? Well, we're going to talk about it right after this. Hello and welcome to Destination Timeshare. I'm Jeremy. I'm here at the beautiful Canyon Villas in North Phoenix, Arizona to talk about something that kind of comes up this time of the year, and that just happens to be maintenance fee bills, maintenance fees. And you know what? As they always say with timeshare, the fees only go up. Well, of course, not 100% true. It is certainly probably going to be true for almost all timeshares in 2024. We're actually going to go over the numbers here for Westin Flex, Westin Aventuras, and Sheraton Flex as it comes to Vistana timeshare ownership, and then for Abound trust points in the Marriott Vacation Club world. So let's jump into the numbers here. Sheraton Flex, well, for 2024, it's 2.19 cents per point. Last year, 2023, well, I guess technically still this year, 1.9056 cents per point. So looks like a 14.9% increase in 2024. Why not, let's just call it, 15%. Pretty significant. And Westin Aventuras, well, it is even worse. It is looking like 2024 is 1.985 cents per point, which is up from 1.623. So that's looking like 22.3 cents. Now we need to talk about Westin Flex. It's kind of in the middle of those two. 2024, 2.535 cents per point, up from 2.183. So it looks like 16.1% increase here. So anywhere from about 15% to over 22% on the Vistana side in the way of maintenance fee increases for bills that you've probably received already, because they seem to get theirs out pretty early. I believe they're due sometime in mid-September. So that is actually a little bit disturbing. They're saying kind of across the board that it's a number of different things. You have increasing insurance costs, especially in places like Florida where there's actually a fair number of resorts. And then they also say they have inflation. So in order to do those things like refurbishments every 5, 6, 10, and 12 years, whatever type of refurbishment cycle a resort might be on, to replace those goods that they were maybe expecting only to have to pay a certain amount. Well, now in order to replace those, maybe next year, the next year after, or a future year, they're having to essentially collect extras in reserves in order to cover those additional costs related to inflation. I mean, inflation, we all know about it. You go to the grocery store, you go to buy a car, you're looking maybe to buy a home, just about everything is increased in cost. Then they also have labor cost increases. We know that labor rates, it is going up astronomically as well. So in order to keep that staff, retain that staff, and even hire new staff, they need to be competitive out in the workforce. So really the only way to do it is to offer better benefits and better pay. And we also have another thing with regards to essentially property values. Property values are going up. That also then means taxes are going up too. So now another thing they're talking about with regards to Westin Aventuras just happens to be the conversion rate between the Mexican peso and the US dollar. The US dollar has actually been falling, or maybe the Mexican peso has been rising against the US dollar. But in any case, it is not nearly as advantageous this year as it has been in the past. When you make your maintenance fee payment with Westin Aventuras, you're making that payment in US dollars, but then they have to convert it to Mexican peso to actually pay the maintenance fees for the individual resorts that are in Mexico and are in the Westin Aventuras program. So any fluctuations with that, well, they can impact the costs or the maintenance fees that we pay, you pay, or any other owner of Westin Aventuras pays with those maintenance fees. So now we've talked about Vistana. Well, we're also Marriott owners now. We actually own individual weeks with Marriott, and we actually own individual weeks with Vistana as well. So we don't really know what our maintenance fees will be for 2024, because those usually don't get billed till sometime in maybe late October, early November, or even December. They usually do the first part of January. So we won't know what our fees are, but looking at the fee increases here with trust points, deeded weeks are actually the underlying inventory that makes up these individual trusts, whether it be Westin Flex, Sheraton Flex, Westin Aventuras, or Abound club points, trust points, which we're going to talk about here in just a minute. So if these are an indicator of the cost of maintenance fees for individual weeks, well, it's not going to be pretty for weeks-based ownership either. All right, now let's talk about Abound Trust Points. And they actually have two budgets that they've put out. They actually haven't billed their maintenance fees yet for next year. They've put out a proposed budget and then an alternate budget. And something to kind of point out here with the Abound Trust, well, it is a land-based trust recorded in Orange County, Florida. So because of that, it falls under Florida regulation, and thus they have to have what they call a proposed budget, which is when they are considering fully funding reserves. Florida has this weird little thing about fully funding reserves or waiving the fully funding of reserves. It's confusing. I tried my best to explain it. I'll put a video right up there talking about it. But they put out a proposed budget, and it is expensive. So it actually says here that the proposed fully funded budget, the fees will be 82.4 cents per point. That is actually $206 per beneficial interest, because technically they kind of bill based on beneficial interest, which is 250 points. We'll kind of, for the rest of this purpose, talk about price or cost per point. So that is actually a 20.5% increase over the last year's maintenance fees. They do also have this alternate budget, which is essentially when they waive fully funding of reserves. And this is something that you probably, if you're an owner in trust points with Marriott Vacation Club, you should have received a proxy ballot asking you to go in and vote, or provide your proxy for somebody who's actually going to be at the annual meeting to vote to either waive or not waive fully funding of reserves. You can read up more about that if you want. Check out that video if you want to understand that a little bit more. But if they do waive fully funding of reserves, well, then the fee only goes up to 78.74 cents per point. And well, that's only a 15.1% increase. And you know, I kind of actually like 15.1% better than over 20%, but hard to tell right now which way this will go. Most likely, I would expect fully funding of reserves to be waived, and you'll see this alternate budget of about 15% increase. Still a lot more money this year than last. Unfortunately, the same reasons apply as they did with Vistana. Now, these are actually some pretty big increases on top of what was actually fairly big increases even in 2023. I mean, Sheraton Flex was up 3.4% last year. Westin Aventuras was up 6.4%. Westin Flex up 3.8%. And Abound Club Points, they, I believe, were up 8.91% last year. So this is just additional increases on what were pretty big increases last year. Seems like Westin and Sheraton Flex weren't all that high last year, but they're more than making up for it in 2024. But one other thing here, that is Abound club dues. Those are actually going up by $10 for everybody except for Chairman's Club members. So if you're an owner, you're select, you're executive, or you're presidential, well, expect to see a $10 increase in those club dues when they're billed a little bit later on this year. And on the Vistana side, they have essentially what they call a voluntary ARDA fee, and well, Marriott has this too. They've traditionally only charged, I believe, $5 per vacation ownership interest, whether it be a week, whether it be a contract. Well, it is voluntary. Now that ARDA fee increase on the Vistana side, it does bring it in line with what Marriott Vacation Club has long charged as a voluntary ARDA fee for Marriott Vacation Club owners. Just keep that in mind. You don't have to pay it. You might not even want to pay it if you watch this video right up here. So check that out. Understand what ARDA is, what they do, and really it is a lobby organization, and you probably need to understand who they're really lobbying for. So again, check out that video. So I'm kind of curious, are these fees sustainable? Are you going to be able to afford them? Are you going to keep paying them? Are we going to see a lot of people start jumping ship, which then results in defaults and more bad debts being added to those fees? Because essentially, if another owner defaults, well, guess what? Other owners have to pick up the tab, because those defaults just get added as a line item to the budget next year, meaning owners are paying for owners that have defaulted. So unfortunately, it can sometimes become kind of a bit of a death spiral. The higher fees go, the more people that might just walk away, and ultimately then more fees, more people walk away, more fees. You get the drift here. It isn't necessarily a really good thing. Hopefully you can keep this going. Does it diminish your ownership in Marriott Vacation Club, in Vistana Signature Experiences? Well, sure, anytime fees are going up, it's not a good thing, not a good feeling. I certainly don't want to pay more for things that I've enjoyed for lower prices in the past, but it is kind of a sign of the times. Really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please be sure to give it a thumbs up, and please do let me know in the comments down below your thoughts, I'm sure you will, about the maintenance fee increases for the upcoming year. And to see another video about Abound by Marriott Vacations, well, check out this video right here. Thanks for watching, and remember, until next time, the best destination, well, we'll see, might be a timeshare.